Good morning, friends. I'm Dr. Manju Sharma, and we will go further into the beautiful ode written by John Keats and which is entitled Ode to a Nightingale. Ode is a poem of address to someone or something that is not a human being. Now look at this. Why would anyone want to speak to someone who is not a person and is a non-speaking creature or even a thing? Why do they do it? Because they become passionate to see in this creature who they are addressing a quality that is not found among human beings. And what is that quality? The quality in this nightingale, as we have read in the preceding two stanzas, is that even when it is hidden in the forest, it can make its presence felt. Keats was writing, but he was not recognized. He was rather overshadowed in the presence of his senior romantic poets. First, Wordsworth, who was the poet laureate, then Coleridge and Shelley. So the youngest of them all, who couldn't make his presence felt, can see a small nightingale which is not even visible to his physical eye, can make its appeal on his heart through its melodious voice. This is the quality. Second, that this bird can heal, it can induce happiness even in the heart of this suffering poet who is lying somewhere in the forest, and there he hears the song of the nightingale. एक व्यक्तिगत लगाव, एक व्यक्तिगत रवैया है इन कवि का, एक सब्जेक्टिव अप्रोच है, एक आत्मवादी एक प्रयास है. वो समझ पा रहे हैं कि ये नाइटिंगेल जो दिख रही नहीं है फिर भी अनुभूत हो रही है, और अनुभूत इस तरह से हो रही है कि वो जो दर्द में डूबा हुआ कवि है, अपनी बीमारी से परेशान कवि है, उसको हैप्पी कर दिया उसने. इतना कि कवि बोल रहा है मुझे तो बस अब कुछ वाइन मिल जाए कि मैं अनदेखा, अनजाना, बिना दुख के इस मोमेंट में ख़त्म हो जाऊं. सो ओड इज द पोएम which celebrates the quality of someone other than a human and which is not generally found among human beings. It is the poem of address, and you can identify an ode by the simple thing that the certain the object to which the poem is being addressed, or the creature to which the poem is being addressed, is written with a bold letter as though it were a human. So humanizing of this non-human is particular to an ode. So in this poem of address, the poet begins and says that his heart is aching, there is a numbness, his sense is as though drunk of hemlock or of opiate, and has sunk into forgetfulness, and that he is not envious of the happiness of the bird. And then he addresses her as the dryad of the trees. This is Odeik. He calls her the spirit, who is singing in full-throated ease And then he desires for the draught of wine and a beaker full of warm south. And in the last two lines, that he might drink and leave the world unseen. The escapism, and then fade away into the forest dim. He wants to fade away in this forest, in this deadly place that is earth. We begin now. Fade far away, dissolve, and quite forget what you among the leaves hath never known. The poet says, I want the intensity. In odes, they are the poems of very strong passion. And the poet is becoming very passionate about his escapism and says, I want to fade far away and get dissolved. To dissolve means when something dissolves in the other, you cannot differentiate one from the other. When you dissolve sugar in water, you cannot then find out where is the sugar. So he says, I want to dissolve and quite forget what you among the leaves have never known. You have not known. What she has not known? The sorrow which the poet has been suffering. Now, when people become very sad, they are prone to believing that others do not suffer. They go so much into their own suffering that they start believing that others do not have any such misery. And because the bird is singing in such happiness that he is pressed to believe that she has never known. What she has never known? The weariness, the fever, and the fret here. Here means on earth. The bird is on the trees, in the branches on the trees. So he says, on earth we have weariness, we have tiredness, we have fevers. That means some kind of heat destroying us, and fret, frustrations, where men sit and hear each other groan. What can people do on earth? One begins by saying, oh, I'm suffering, and the other one also adds on, oh, even I am, don't ask me my ailments. तो एक के दुख यहाँ पृथ्वी पर क्या करते हैं, लोग एक दूसरे के पास भी बैठते हैं तो दुख की बातें करते हैं. तो तुमने तो बर्ड ये जाना ही नहीं है, तुम तो ट्रीज पर रहती हो. Now he is contrasting his state with the state of the bird. And on earth, palsy shakes a few sad last grey hairs. Palsy is old age, paralysis. So this shakes the few last sad grey hairs. People start becoming bald. Where youth grows pale. अर्थ पे क्या होता है, यूथ के अंदर ही लोग एकदम पीले पड़ जाते हैं. एंड स्पेक्टर थिन लाइक अ रॉड एंड डाइज. यहाँ पर तो यूथ में ही लोग मर जाते हैं, बिकॉज नाउ यू कैन सी दैट his own autobiographical element. He is talking about himself because he knows, he is aware of his approaching death. Where but to think is to be full of sorrow and leaden-eyed despairs. So when you can, earth पे अभी मैं आपको बोलूँ जरा सोचो क्या करोगे आज के बाद में, एग्जाम आने वाले हैं, तो सुनते ही क्या होगा, सोचते ही. जब तक हम सोचते नहीं हैं हम तभी तक मस्त रहते हैं. सोचने का काम आदमियों का होता है, और सोचते ही क्या होता है, you become full of sorrow and leaden eyed. The eyes become very heavy. You already start feeling as if you are just about to fade away. Where beauty cannot keep her lustrous eyes, or new love pine at them beyond tomorrow. So beauty, girls cannot keep the luster in their eyes. The luster goes away with time, and love also pine at them beyond tomorrow. So eyes appear to be more aged than tomorrow, means they lose their life. So in this stanza, what you can see is he wants to fade away for the reason. He has a very strong reason to say that on this earth, here on this earth, the bird is in the branch, high from the earth. Whereas on this earth, people, when they sit next to each other, they have only to talk about pain. To think about life is to be full of sorrow. no beauty. The word beauty it's personification. Beauty is like a quality, but that it has been personified to say that women or any kind of beauty. Keats was very beautiful himself, though this word is not used for men, but people have thought him very beautiful. So he said that beauty cannot keep, and love also doesn't, because he was in secret love with someone and he couldn't fulfill it. He didn't dare to marry her for the reason that he knew that he would die. So again, this poem is very subjective poem, because the poet is thinking about himself largely. When he is listening the bird, he at once is forced to think about himself as in contrast with the bird. Away, away, and then he directs the bird and says, fly away, do not stay here. Away, away, for I will fly to thee. He says, if you stay here for long, I will come with you, I will pass away. Not charioted by Bacchus and his parts. Bacchus again is the Greek god of wine. He says that I am not coming on the effect of wine, but on the viewless wings of poesy. Poesy is again Greek goddess of poetry. So he says, I will be lifted by my poems and I will come to you. Though the dull brain perplexes and retards, already with thee. Though my brain is perplexed and it is retarding, but let me tell you, I am already with thee. He admits that the beauty of the bird, the voice of the bird, has caused him to go to her. Tender is the night, and happily the queen moon is on her throne. So this is a beautiful time to pass away. Your beautiful voice, my forgetting my pain, and in fact your voice has induced into me a kind of intoxication, and the queen moon, the night has got the full moon shining, clustered around by all her starry fairies. So stars are shining around the moon like beautiful fairies. There is a semicolon. He comes back to his own reality. But here, there is no light. So the skies where you seem to be planted, stationed high on the branches, you can see that where I am, there is no light. Except, save here means except what from heaven is with the breeze blown through verdurous glooms and winding mossy ways. सेंसियसनेस देखिए आप, पोएट की सेंसियसनेस एक गुण होता है जिसमें आपके जो 5 इंद्रियां हैं उनको प्रभावित करने का एक तरीका होता है. अभी आपकी आंखों के लिए सुंदर नज़ारे हो रहे थे. बीडेड बबल्स विंकिंग एट द ब्रिम, द क्वीन मून, द ब्यूटिफुल थिंग्स आर देयर एंड द स्टारी फेज. दिस इज डिलाइट फॉर द आईज. लेकिन यहाँ पर आपकी नोज के लिए भी है वर्डरस ग्लूम्स. वर्डरस इज ग्रीन. हरियाली में से जब हवा होकर आती है तो उसमें एक गीलापन होता है. दैट वेटनेस, द मॉइस्टनेस ऑफ द एयर एंड वाइंडिंग मॉसी वेज. सो सम light is coming to me and this light is bringing the impact of mossy ways, moss, वो काई जैसी. So in these 2 stanzas we have made an analysis and understanding of some other qualities of the poet that he affects Hellenism. What is Hellenism? Helen was the queen of Greece, princess of Greece, and Greece was known for its beauty, its learning. And of all the romantic poets that you are studying, Keats is most Hellenic. He talks most about Greece. For him, the ideal place was Greece. So, the the dryad, the spirit, which is a Greek word for spirit, Bacchus, the Greek god of wine, Poesy, the Greek goddess of poetry. So you see his Hellenism. You see also his sensuousness, his appeal to our senses. So, in these two stanzas that we have read today, the poet says that begins by his ardent desire to fade with the bird in this moment. And why does he want to fade with the bird? Because on this earth, where people, when they sit next to each other, only talk about pain, where beauty cannot contain its beauty, where youth becomes spectre thin and dies, and every aspect of beauty or well-being is destroyed on this earth. So he says that I can see you stationed somewhere near the queen moon, and in this is the right moment for me to pass away, to fade away with you. This is all for today. Thank you. We shall continue.